Hello, this is a very quick look at the xmartO WOS1344 4-channel 960p HD wireless camera system. This is the main unit, the main DVR unit, and you can see it's got one on the back, VGA, HDMI, USB port for the mouse, and a couple of aerials for the Wi-Fi. Now I have to say the cameras that come with this are fantastic looking. They are really smart looking cameras. They've got the IR lights built in for night vision. Look fantastic. Bit of a problem during the install, which we'll come back to later, but that relates to these cables. So you've got a power cable and an Ethernet cable. I'll show you the problem later on. They have a little Wi-Fi antenna which just screws in the back, and they also come with the screws and wall plugs that you'll need to fit these outdoors. They are outdoor cameras. Along with the camera and the DVR, you get a box of bits, including a mouse for use with the menu system, the Wi-Fi aerials for the main unit, and the various plugs and power supplies for the cameras and the DVR units, all just kept in this box, all nice and tidy. You get some instructions that will help point you in the right direction for setup. The one thing you don't get, however, which is disappointing at this price, is a hard drive. So you actually have to purchase your own hard drive. The top just unscrews on the main DVR unit, and it will take either a 2.5 or 3.5 SATA drive, and very easy. You don't need to know too much about drives, just make sure you've bought a SATA drive, and then there's only these two plugs to plug in, and then it's got these little mounting brackets as well to keep the drive in place. So here's a 2.5 drive, and you can see that just slots in very nicely. They tend to be more expensive though, so you're probably going to want a 3.5 drive instead. And I got a Western Digital 1TB 3.5 drive for, I think it was just less than £50. There's the 3.5 drive. So again, just plug it in, SATA drive, nice and easy, couple of plugs, and then mount it in the main case, and you're ready to power this up. I have to say the actual setup of the Wi-Fi is brilliant on this, because you don't need to worry about it. This has its own Wi-Fi network. The main issue comes from the plugs. This plug is massive, and these are outdoor cameras. So if you want to mount the cameras outdoors, you're going to have to drill a really fat hole to get the Ethernet plug through. I've no idea why it's been designed like this. You just want a small plug and then maybe attach an Ethernet lead, but you can see how massive that hole is. Now the camera does cover it, but it's really difficult to get to that size hole, and it's a massive drawback of this. The Wi-Fi, as I was saying, is brilliant because the cameras, once they're powered on, will just automatically connect to the box. Very easy to set up the cameras. You don't need to worry about connecting them to a network or anything like that. And you could see in the background the main screen that you get from the DVR box. So this gives you the cameras split into 4. You can just zoom into 1. You've got various options during the setup. Obviously you set the date and time. You can set the recording properties. So you can set it to record on motion, sensor, time-based, things like that. And then if you want to be able to use the app, you'll need to plug this into your wired network and get it set up via the network screen. So there's all sorts of options for you to take a look at. I'm navigating around using the supplied mouse that just plugs in the back, and it does a fairly decent job on the menus. One thing to note is that if you need to type something in, so for example if you want to rename a camera, you can do that. It's down as camera 1, let's rename it. You click on that and then you have to click on the individual letters to rename it. But because you're not going to be using this too often, I don't see that being a big chore. There's quite a few additional options under network, so if you want to use DDNS, FTP, get email alerts, all that kind of stuff is dealt with here as well. And the options and the overall menu interface, while not amazing, it is workable on the box. However, if you want to tuck the box away somewhere, you can access this via the network, and that can be done either via PC software, PC client software, which to be honest is quite clunky and I didn't enjoy using it at all. It does give you a lot of features, but I found quite a few didn't seem to work or timed out or didn't seem to connect properly. I don't know what was going on, so I stopped using that quite quickly and switched to the web interface, which seemed to work a lot better. It gives you the real-time view, you can search for recordings, you can check on what's going on, check the by motion sensor, things like that. The results are returned in hour slots, and you can see which camera it is relating to, and you can play them in the browser themselves, or you can download the file for viewing or storing. Now you can also connect via the mobile app. I found this to be a bit hit and miss. Sometimes the unit seems to be online, sometimes it didn't. but when it does work, it kind of works okay. You simply click in and you will get a real-time view. However, as I say, the network element of this, sometimes it seems to be online, sometimes it didn't. I've not quite been able to pinpoint why that is, and obviously be aware that if you're outside of your home network, this is going to take up a lot of data as it's streaming. Video quality is okay, so here's just some examples, and overall it's a bit of a mixed bag. I really like the cameras. The cameras are fantastic. It's just a shame they've got that fat Ethernet wire on them. That makes installation a real pain, and the software is pretty poor actually. In this day and age, I'd really prefer to see some much better quality software, much easier to use, better user interface in terms of the PC software, the web software. All that side of it is a bit of a letdown for what should be quite a good little unit. I hope you found this short review useful. Thanks for watching.